Hello, everyone. My name is Frank LaRose. I serve as the 51st Ohio Secretary of State. Of course, I'm a native of Summit County, and it is a great honor to serve as your commencement speaker. In fact, my father, Frank LaRose Sr., graduated from Archbishop Hoban High School, as many other members of my family have over the years. Let me start by saying congratulations to each and every one of you. You all have definitely earned it, and you should be proud of your accomplishment. Also, for all the graduates, take some time to thank those that helped you get here. None of us walk this path alone, and for each and every one of you, there are people in your lives who have believed in you, have backed you up, have helped you along the way. Think of your parents, think of your grandparents, think of your teachers and coaches and all those who have contributed to your success. And someday, hopefully soon, it'll be your opportunity to pay that back. And we're going to talk about here in a few minutes the opportunities to live a life bigger than yourself. But to your parents, teachers, coaches, faculty members, thank you so much. And please make sure to express that gratitude to each and every one of them as well. Of course, these are not normal times. It goes without saying that life looks different here in Ohio, here in the United States of America, and really all around the world. This pandemic has changed the way that we do a lot of things, but there are also things in life that are rock solid, things that are timeless, things that never change. No pandemic, nothing can change some of these principles that we hold dear. One of them is the idea that every voice matters in our democracy, and you should make sure that your voice is heard. As many of you are turning 18 or already have turned 18, you will have the opportunity to vote this November. That'll include the opportunity for in-person voting, both on Election Day or early voting, as well as Ohio's absentee voting. It all starts with getting registered to vote, though, and my office is working to encourage that. In fact, as Ohio's Chief Elections Officer, I take that responsibility very seriously, that we work every year to make sure that every new graduating class of seniors, every Ohioan who's turning 18 gets registered to vote so that they can participate. And it's easier now than it's ever been. In fact, my office just sent out over 150,000 packets to almost 1,200 high schools around Ohio to make sure that the graduating seniors this year at all different kinds of schools, digital schools, private schools, vocational schools, public schools, to make sure that all Ohioans have in their hands that Grads Vote packet. Hopefully you will get that soon if you haven't gotten it already. There's a form in there. It's really easy to fill out. Now, in Ohio, it's also possible to register online, and this is something that I actually sponsored when I served in the legislature, and so we're really proud of. And so you can also visit voteohio.gov to get registered to vote, same place to change your address. It's a really simple thing, and it allows you to make sure that you're engaging in the civic life of our state, because as a young person, your voice really matters. Many of you will live in Ohio for many, many decades to come and grow your careers here and grow your families here. And so we want to hear your voice. We want to have you participate in this election. And so your civic duty and your responsibility as a citizen is one of those things that the pandemic will not change. Something else that doesn't change is the need to live a life bigger than yourself. These are some of the values that you've learned not only from your family and your faith, but also from Archbishop Hoban High School. I know that they've instilled in you, as part of a Catholic education, the need to serve a cause bigger than yourself, to be involved in things. And there are a variety of different ways to do this. Not everybody will follow the same path that I did, but I'm glad that I had the chance to serve in the military for 10 years and then go on to elected service. I hope some of you choose to serve in the armed forces, and I hope some of you choose to seek public office someday. We need bright young Ohioans to run for office and to serve in these important government posts. And so I hope, if that's something you're thinking about, that you continue to think about that and pursue it and act on it. And don't ever wait for somebody to tell you it's your turn. I ran for office when I was still in my late 20s, and I hope that some of you choose to do the same as well. Now, as much as I said, this pandemic has changed the look of things in our community, it has also brought about some real challenges. We know that crises like this tend to bring out both the best and the worst in all of humankind. Thankfully, we've seen a lot more of the best than the worst, but we know that there are those out there that have engaged in selfish behavior, that have engaged in hoarding or price gouging or those kind of things. And as much as that's something we need to be aware of, there is so much more good news than there is bad. What we're seeing is, in the last few months, Ohioans have risen to the occasion to help those in need, to volunteer, to reach out to a neighbor who may need help. to engage in productive things, to help lift the spirits of people that are working hard, our first responders and our public health professionals and our healthcare workers at all levels are receiving outpourings of support, and that's the good news, and that's the kind of thing that we need to see more of. We've also seen people engaging in just random acts of kindness, and you all as students have exhibited a great level of resiliency. Listen, the class of 2020 has gone through a lot, and that graduation certificate is always a precious thing to hold in your hands, but I think it may mean even more to all of you because you've had to overcome a lot, especially in these last few months. The 2020 class will always be remembered as one that exhibited great resiliency, and so thank you all for doing that. We're also seeing Ohio's entrepreneurs rising to the occasion. I serve as the Chief Elections Officer, but the other role that I have as the Secretary of State is to be that front door for new businesses. And we anticipated that when this pandemic began, that there would be an almost complete halt in new business formations. But we should have known better. Ohio's entrepreneurs always rise to the occasion and find creative ways to serve their communities and customers and to create value in our economy. And that's exactly what has continued to happen. In fact, in the last few months, we've seen numbers that haven't climbed but have been consistent with what we've seen in the past. And so new business filings for the months of March and April and May have really been consistent with what we saw in 2019. That tells me that Ohio's entrepreneurs, these brave, courageous small business owners that really keep our economy growing, are going out there and finding new ways and starting new businesses, finding ways to serve their customers. And that's another sign of resiliency for our economy and for the people of Ohio, and something that really is to be celebrated. Now, I know that for many of you, this feels like the end of a long journey, and it is, and you're to be congratulated for that. But as much as you close this chapter, you're beginning a new chapter. Many of you are going to go on to continue your academic progress in college. Some of you may choose to begin your careers or go on to military service. All of you will have an opportunity to make your mark. And so here are a few admonitions that I have for each and every one of you. Again, now's the time to get registered to vote. We need to hear your voice, and that matters. And so please make sure that you take your role and your responsibility as an American citizen seriously. I know that each and every one of you will, and you've been trained to do that. And so I hope that you'll take the opportunity to register to vote and to participate. Second, consider public service. Again, this takes many different forms, whether it's running for office, whether it's becoming a first responder, serving in the military, being a teacher, or simply being active in a community organization or your church to mentor young people. If you think about in the last few years of your lives, you've all had people that have mentored you, and please take that opportunity to pay that back and to mentor other young people. It'll be a rewarding experience for you, but it'll also contribute to our society in a very rich way. Be a volunteer. Sign up to be a poll worker. Listen, we need people every election. Close to 35,000 Ohioans come out to work the polls on Election Day, and maybe now more than ever, we really need young people to sign up to be poll workers. We have a program in Ohio called Youth at the Booth, where 17-year-olds can sign up to be poll workers. Many of you are already over 18, and so certainly it's easy for you to sign up to be a poll worker. The place to do that is voteohio.gov/defenddemocracy. voteohio.gov/defenddemocracy. I chose that website name very intentionally because when you sign up to be a poll worker, you'll be trained by your county board of elections. You'll be equipped with the right knowledge to carry this task out, and you'll be paid something for your day's work, but more importantly, you will be defending democracy, as generations of Ohioans have done. And many of our poll workers tend to be in the older demographic, and so particularly in the midst of this pandemic, we need young Ohioans to sign up to be poll workers, so please consider that. And again, just the basic idea of living a life bigger than yourself. It's something meaningful. It's something that I've had the chance to see firsthand through my time in the military. In fact, when I served overseas in Iraq, I got to see something that I'll never forget. In fact, both in Iraq and in Kosovo, I served in both places, and in both times I saw people vote for the first time. I saw people defy the threats of terrorists to do something that too many of us take for granted. Where I served in southern Iraq, they were conducting their first ever national election, and the way they kept people from voting twice was a pretty simple technique. You have to dip your finger in purple ink when you cast your ballot. You have a purple ink-stained finger, then it was a sign that you had already voted, and it was a way to keep people from voting a second time. That purple finger became so symbolic for the Iraqi people. Many of you may have seen these photos or videos of Iraqi men and women or Afghanis or others walking out of polling places and holding a purple ink-stained finger in the air. Well, it was kind of like their I voted sticker, the I voted sticker that Ohioans get that we're so proud of. It's a sign that you participated in an election, but it became so much more than that. It was really a badge of courage when you think about the fact that these Iranian-backed terrorist organizations, the bad guys that I was fighting on a nightly basis on the streets of southern Iraq, they told people that it was un-Islamic to vote. Of course, that's not true, nothing true about that, but they told people that if they saw purple ink on their finger, they would cut their finger off. Now, would you believe in that election that I saw, over 70% came out to vote, despite threats of violence. Now, we very seldom see a 70% voter turnout rate here in the United States, and I can assure you nobody's cutting fingers off. That purple finger was a sign. It was a sign that the Iraqi men and women were saying, you can't intimidate me. I'm a free man. I'm a free woman. I did something profound. I cast a ballot and made my voice heard. I would encourage you to remember that. If you're ever thinking about, well, I'll sit out this election, or maybe it's not worth my time to do. It is worth your time, and your voice matters, so please make sure that you participate. Live a life greater than yourself. You all have already exhibited great resilience. Take the time to thank those that have helped you get here, and remember going forward that your voice matters, and you will make a difference in the future of our state. Ohio's future is in good hands with bright, hardworking young Ohioans like each and every one of you writing that next chapter. So may God continue to bless each and every one of you and your families. May God continue to bless the great state of Ohio, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.